Let's start over. Hi, Martin. So where were you born?
Fridley, Minnesota.
Fridley, Minnesota. How did you get to Minneapolis? I mean, you can share.
Always nearby, I guess.
It's nearby?
No particular reason.
Okay.
Except there's a lot of people here.
Okay.
More opportunities.
I guess, can you share me your story, or like who you are, what you're doing, like how you ended up here?
Sure.
Are you secretly a really rich person, you know, like anything you feel like sharing?
I have a bachelor's degree. I've had great jobs making $110,000 a year. And my priorities shifted. Largely, I started thinking about Jesus and how he was homeless. And I started thinking about all the people in heaven. And I started thinking about how could I ever have credibility with anybody who was ever homeless upon this earth if I had never, ever experienced it. So it wasn't like a great thing, like I want to go be homeless, like yet like I will enjoy this. But it was more of like a slow spiritual process where I started letting go of more worldly things and just sort of taking care of what things made me feel closer with God.
I did not expect to hear that. Cool. So, where'd you get the chair?
Well, this is always out there.
Oh, it's always out there, right?
I mean, yeah, most of the time.
Okay.
But it's new within the last couple months.
How long have you been doing this?
Within the last year, I was probably say 8 or 9 months.
Okay. Do you go to a shelter, or where do you
I've
stay at
been
night?
to Catholic Charities and Salvation Army. I tried to stay with friends if I can,
Okay.
but it's pretty difficult. So I do sleep way better outside than I ever do inside,
Oh,
but it's really cold
sure.
coming in the winter. So that's a challenge. Like I've always been a kind of person who always sleep better in a hotel room than my own room.
Okay. What did you get your bachelor's in?
Screenwriting.
Screenwriting. Cool. Okay.
And I taught that at Metropolitan State for a little while.
Okay. What do you think about when you're like holding your sign?
I think I am thankful that other people might hopefully learn like how much less difficult it really should be asking for something. I think some people go out with such like shame and like just hardness in their hearts when they go out to ask for something. But I always feel like God is more glorified by a gift given than a thing earned.
Sure.
And you know, like Jesus said, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. So if I'm blessed receiving something, then they're more blessed giving it.
Okay.
And still I've had so little. I mean, in this process, like the gospel made sense to me because it says, you know, they who have little, what little they had shall be taken from them and given to they who have more. And I had much. And then as I kind of went down this spiritual journey and started giving up more and more things, and then I had little. And then what little I had literally was taken away from me. And then I had nothing. But now, what little I receive, or what little I do receive,
Yeah.
I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Like more than so much of what I had that I didn't.
Sure. So do you have stuff? Where's your stuff? Do you have stuff?
No, not really. I try not to keep stuff.
Okay. So like, where do you have a place that you're staying tonight, or where do you go right now?
I have a friend that are nearby that I can go get warm if I need to.
Okay.
So I'm always looking for a more ideal solution, but I don't want to because the city is harsh about certain achievements of people that don't have permanent addresses. Because I think people get frightened. Like,
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
people
sir.
get frightened, like if people
About-
are sleeping in their cars or something like that.
Oh, and not having addresses?
But also people get frightened if someone's sleeping in their car.
Yeah.
And so there's like, city ordinances and stuff like that that says you can't, have your car parked in the same spot for like 72 hours.
Oh, really?
But if you're driving a beater car or like a rundown RV, someone will call the cops on you like once every couple of days.
Really?
It seems like sometimes. And I have a friend who has an RV that's an old RV, and I can go in there to warm up, and I'm thankful for that. But he doesn't live in his RV because I guess that's against the ordinance.
Sure. Like, what's your daily routine? Is it the same, or does it change a lot?
A daily routine, I think it changes quite a bit. I mean, this time, since I had a break of a few months where I stayed with my father.
Okay. In Fridley?
No, in Monsview, and he passed away. And so now that I'm out here, I'm not really sure what my exact direction is that I want to be doing. Like before, when I was homeless, it was more like, go through all the processes, like go get the EBT card, go get, try to look into the permanent housing and all those other solutions and plans, and apply for benefits and whatnot, and see what resources are out there. But now I'm more like, I feel like it's so much more rewarding receiving from just everyday people than the charities. And I was really upset when I saw on the news that some of the cities were putting out flyers that were discouraging giving individual people that were signing for soliciting donations, or homeless people. They were discouraging that, and they said it's way better to give it to an organization.
Huh.
And I just think that was just cruel to discourage any type of charity at all. If you want to tell them to give to a charity, then tell them to give to the charity. Then let the city of Minneapolis or the city of Maple Grove endorse the Salvation Army publicly, but they won't do that. But if the people get enough phone calls and they get annoyed and they don't want to do the work of hassling people because it's uncomfortable for them to hassle people, so when they don't, then they come up with these little flyers and stuff like that I just saw, like I think it was the Maple Grove or whatever was doing. And I just thought it was so terrible and disrespectful to the cops and the homeless people.
What's your opinion or experience with other homeless people? Like, I mean, talking to you, you're the first person I've interviewed, and
for the most part, other homeless people, they have a thicker skin, and they're harder to get to know than average people.
Why do you think that is?
Probably because most people don't seem that they could have much they could offer, or would be really interested in offering or developing a relationship with them,
Okay.
just on an everyday level. So most of the friends that they have tend to be other homeless people.
What
Or
type
some-
of friends do you have? Like, are they, some still have jobs, or?
No, I mean, I don't really. Yeah, I mean, I have friends that I haven't talked to in a few years. I have friends in California. I have family here that I'm not really talking to very much now. And yeah, they still have jobs and go do the whole thing. But it just became a thing with me personally. So I have an older brother and a younger brother, and they both have grandchildren. My father passed away. My mother is very much about all the grandchildren and the sons with the grandchildren. And so I just felt like I would rather try to be more independent. And realizing that, and this is so far out there, but, every kindness that we don't do is exactly what's evil about this place. Like every time we make somebody earn something that we could give them just freely, just for no reason, it would be so much better. It'd be so much more rewarding for everybody. But we don't do that. And so, having that crisis of faith, I realized that I would like to be in a situation where I would rather have a physical hardship and a spiritual crisis now than to deal with it when I'm alive in heaven afterwards. But no, I have other plans of my life, possibly.
You have
I
plans
just
to do
don't.
it?
I just don't know exactly what they are.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're building, hopefully, to a bigger magnitude than exactly everything that has up until this point. Because up until this point, I felt like my life was. I mean, I worked for a lot of blue chip companies. I worked for Microsoft. I worked for Cisco Systems. I worked for Symantec. I worked for State Farm. I worked for Best Buy here. And it felt like all of that life was like working at Best Buy corporate. It was like working at, and worse than Best Buy corporate, working at Microsoft. It's like a daycare for grown-ups. It really is. If
Yeah.
you're a smart guy, it's like a daycare for grown-ups. And sitting there having to, I was a consultant from an outside agency, and it's sitting there and having to just please them all day, it was so annoying. And then what happens is you don't want to lose that nice paying job, right? But then you don't get along with the clients, and then they say they got to let you go. But the consultancy that I was working for was speaking, it was a Tata Consultancy, an Indian company. They spoke like 90% 4 dialects of whatever, Indian languages, and 10% English. So I was like, when they went to go lay me off, I said, why? This seems so unfair. I feel like I would have had a better chance if I would have been able to hear what my colleagues were talking about in my own language.
Mm-hmm.
And so they like gave me paychecks for like 6-7 months, and I just stayed in hotels for no reason. And then eventually they gave me like a severance for like $10,000, check in the mail. And after that, I was like, I was kind of like, I wasn't happy working, and I wasn't happy just lying around getting paychecks. And I didn't know what else there was.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything
Sure.
you shared. Like, it's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else that you'd like want to share or say, or people want people to know? Like,
Hold on. I really do have a goal.
it's so fun.
I would tell them that they should enjoy giving when they can. And, like, don't just give because you think it's right, but, like, give because it's part of your reward from God to give and enjoy it when you do. And I just realized that I had something to give, I think, my new friends. That is a lot of things that the people in the cars can't get them. But when I do better than my lot of friends with the people with the cars, because I think I sometimes have a keener understanding of what works well and more initiative or study, So I sometimes do a little better, like in terms of getting stuff. I found, like, sometimes my friends will go out there and they'll be like out there for like 3-4 hours and they'll get like $10, and I can go out for like sometimes 10 minutes and I get like, a whole like container of wings and pizza and $20 and come back and they're like, oh, and I'm like, here, just eat.
What's the coolest thing anyone's ever given you?
It is so hard to say this, but it's because of what it can obtain. But a $50 bill.
Yeah.
But overall, I would rather have what I got with a $50 bill than a $50 bill. But still, that was the coolest because all I made a sign that said, kind are you when giving? And someone just drove by and gave me a $50 bill.
Do you remember what these people look like that give you bigger gifts?
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm always sincere in thanking them every time.
What's on your sign right now?
it says, give with the love of God.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome.